LSU and Georgia, SEC championship game. Georgia, the Bulldogs, number one team in the country, minus 17 in the hook in Atlanta, not in Athens. So it is in Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Atlanta Falcons play. 51 being the total. Ralph, don't think we got any alarm went off now. Starting off with you, what are you thinking in the ATL for the SEC championship game?
Well, I was muted, so we'll see how long it goes. But remember, Georgia played here against Oregon in the opener, so that's a big advantage for them, having the in-state, like Rob said, that gives them an edge. But I went to the database, guys, and when you look at championship games this week, conference championships only, when you're a favorite of 12 or more, you have only covered 37.8% against the spread, 17 ATS wins, 28 ATS losses. When I broke down the first half and second half scoring, listen to this. The favorite of 12 or more, like Georgia, first half average 20.2 to 8.9. They're plus 11.3 points per game. Second half scoring, they only score 14.9. They allow 12.8. They're only plus 1.9 points per game. And it makes perfect sense. Listen, if Georgia has a big lead in the second half, they have one goal. Win the game, move on. There are no style points. They win by 1 point. They win by 10 points. They're moving on to conference championship. If you have a double-digit lead late in the fourth quarter, you're going to bring in reserves, run the ball, be conservative. I think that gives LSU and the dynamic offense with Jalen Daniels, a 15-2 ratio, completing 69%, a great second half. I am not going to get to LSU in a live situation. I will clearly be on LSU if they're down 14 or more at the half, and not because someone got injured or something funky happened, but if they're down 14 or 20, 14 plus points in the second half, because of when I look back at the historical data, because Georgia just having to win to advance, because LSU's offense continues to throw the ball, I'll look for a live betting opportunity on the LSU Tigers.
Robbie, what do you think in SEC championship game? Bayou, Bengals, Bulldogs.
Yeah, I would love to get there. I mean, the price has increased, right? It opened 15, went all the way to 17 and a half on the potential that Jaden Daniels doesn't play. However, it looks like he's going to play. I mean, everything I read is pretty optimistic about him going. If he doesn't, it would be Garrett Nussmeier. It kind of puts Georgia in a little bit of a quandary because it's two different style quarterbacks. You got a dual threat and you got a pure pocket. So you have to prepare for both. Georgia's done very well against the really good mobile quarterbacks in this league, dual threats, so to speak. I mean, look what they did to Hendon Hooker. 289 total yards, 3.9 yards per play. Look what they did to Anthony Richardson, who actually isn't the most accurate, but very, very mobile. 371, 5.2 yards per play. And Jaden Daniels fits right in that category. I mean, he can make plays. I treat this game, guys, the exact same way that I treated the Georgia-Florida game. With the, I think I would say this. I think LSU is a little bit better offensively, with more weaponry than is Florida. And I think Florida's a little bit worse defensively than LSU is. This total sits at 51. And to me, LSU is not going to be able to stop Georgia from scoring points in this game. I think Georgia took a week off last week against Georgia Tech. I get it's an in-state rival, but Georgia, it was all along prepping for this, you would think, more than they were prepping for Georgia Tech. They scored theirs. LSU with Daniels at quarterback, which I think he's going to go. I treat it the same way I treated Anthony Richardson a few weeks ago. He's going to make a couple of splash plays, and they've got the receiving core to do it. They've got the running back talent to do it. And even if his ankle hinders his mobility a little bit, LSU's gone 5-1 to the over their last 6 games down the stretch. If nothing else, Brian Kelly figured out a way to score points with this team, to utilize the talent that he has. If they can find their way to 17 in this game, 35-17 final would get me paid on an over 51. I think that's very, very reasonable. So to me, guys, it looks like I would end up on over 51. It's a key number. The 50.5 was a better number, the opener, but we're stuck with 51 right now. I would get it here, though, because you don't want to let it get to 52, where a lot of common results fall on that number as well. So I'll take over 51.
Guys, I'll start off the best bet round right here in the SEC championship game in Atlanta, CBS, 4 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. LSU and Georgia up and over the total 51. Robbie just hit on it. 5 of the last 6 for LSU have gone over the total. Plus the fact LSU just gave up 400 yards and 38 points to Texas A&M. Texas A&M's offense has been an absolute dumpster fire. Now they're going up against Georgia. Most people think of Kirby Smart, Georgia, really good defense, which they are. However, they also have a top 10 total offense as well. This team really moves the ball. They can run it. They can throw it as well. Mobility at the quarterback position. And that's actually what gave Georgia the most problems this season. The opposing offense with mobility at the quarterback position, and Anthony Richardson in Florida put up 20 points against them. So I do think LSU will be able to get the ball in the end zone a couple times. I like Georgia in this game. I think they run away with it. I think Georgia goes for north of 40 points in this. Really blows them up offensively, talking about the LSU defense here. I think it finishes something like maybe 45-20, something in that range, up and over 51 in the SEC championship game. That's my best bet.